All right, we're back. Just chugging away, knocking everything down one by one. We got the intake on. Fuel lines are plumbed. Manny just jumped the fuel pump to check for leaks. It's still holding pressure, looks like, and no leaks there. I put a new idler arm and a new center link down there. You can see there, Manny ground it down like it was hitting the header over here on one of these. Where's the other header? This one over here. It was hitting. So we tried to bang it and it was still hitting, but I think it should be alright now. He ground that down. So that'll be alright, I think. What's next? We got, he just wired the fuel pump that's controlled by the computer. We're going to clean up the wiring mess a little bit there. This is the Hobbs switch. I'm still going to run the other two pumps on the boost switch. That's set and ready to go. I mean, we didn't have to touch that at all. All we had to do was wire up the main pump that'll be key on power with the computer. So, got all that. And then there's still some wiring to do over here. Like, this is for the fan. And it's all configured in the Holly already. That was why I used Brett's tune, because it was already configured, and we just have to find the right wire, hook it up, and I'll probably tweak the settings as far as when they kick on and off and stuff. But so we got that, and that wire is over here somewhere. I don't know what we did to it. I think it's over here hanging out. This guy. So. And then the other one is the flex fuel, which Matt's harness works out pretty good. It goes to the alternator on that side. It's an alternator / flex fuel. Go to Sloppy Mechanics if you want one. It works pretty good. It's this, that, and then there's the little signal wire, which is all I got to hook up. But it's over here somewhere. Where the hell is it? But yeah, so we got to hook that up to the signal wire there on the computer, and that's it. And that should function. And then we got to put the hot side on. And that's kind of the home stretch. Once we start doing that, I got to bolt up the power steering pump. Press the pulley back on. It's kind of a pain in the ass, but we'll do that. And then we'll start bolting up the hot side. And then the cold side, it's just a pipe here, pipe there for the cold side. And then we'll be close to ready to fire it up. The other one yet too is the fuel pressure, which I bought that fitting. I was hoping maybe I could put it here or something, but we're going to run that bracket to hold the turbo. Everything's kind of in the way. We'll see. I mean, worst case scenario, I'll put it, I'll remove this gauge and I'll put the fuel pressure sensor there. And that'll work just as fine. It'll work fine too. I mean, it would be nice to have both. But I could still probably implement that somewhere. We'll see how much room we have. It's just that fitting that has the T on it. It's threaded for, NPT, so you can mount a gauge or a sensor there. The other thing, I didn't get my drive shaft yet. They never even gave me a tracking number. I'll probably call them today and see where it's at. The guy said they'd have it shipped out by Tuesday. And, he said it'd be here by the end of the week. And today's Friday. Today's Saturday. I didn't get it yesterday. So, it's not a huge deal right now. Like I said, it'll be okay to drive the car if I need to. If I want to test drive it, it'll be okay. But, yeah, it's got to be longer. So even if it's next week, it's not a huge deal. But we still got to put the fluid in the transmission. I got this cool little thing on Amazon. It's just a fluid pump, and it gives you a bunch of different adapters. This is just a, windshield washer fluid. It gives you a bunch of different sizes for whatever container, and then you just pump it. Like we used to make a huge mess trying to fill the transmission with fluid, and that thing. It should work good. It should just. The other thing too, I got the accumulator which it's huge. So, I mean, I read the description and it said it was 16 or 20 inches long or something. But this thing is just ginormous. So, I don't know where we're going to put this. Like, it's big. It's big. So, where we're going to put this, if we can find a spot to put it, I'll run it. If not, what I did was they make a smaller one. It's like 12 inches. It's like half as, it's like almost half the length. So I ordered that one as well. And then, maybe we'll use that one and I'll send this one back. Or we'll use this one and I'll send the other one back. But the main thing is finding a place to mount this bitch. Manny was thinking maybe under the sway bar there somewhere, under the rad support, but it's going to be really low. Like under here. There's this air dam thing right here. And that's designed to give air to the radiator. And I've scraped that. It's pretty common that scrapes on, dips in the road or whatever. So if we mount it here, that's right in the way. I don't feel comfortable putting it there. So I don't know. We'll see. I think the shorter one might fit underneath the car, like down where the header would go, down there. So, but that's something we don't have to do right now. But yeah, it's added insurance that I do want to run it, whether it's this big one or whether it's this big one or the smaller one. This one's a 3/4, the smaller one's 1.5, and it never actually fills up all the way, even, depending on what kind of pressure you put in it. You put air pressure here, and depending on how much kind of air pressure, the less air pressure you put here, the more it fills up, but it never fills up more than, half or 3/4. So, in this case, you would get an extra 1.5 at least, where the smaller one, you might get at the most an extra quart. But yeah, when your oil pressure drops, if there's ever an issue, there's a cylinder in here, and it'll force oil to keep your motor from starving of oil and essentially save your engine. Is the point of this thing. So I think it's some added insurance that I want to put on. So what else? Yeah, I think that's about it. I mean, we're getting close. Maybe we'll fire it up today. If not, maybe tomorrow. I don't see why not. Trying to think if I'm missing anything. Nothing's coming to mind. I think we got everything. Manny did I just noticed a little thing here with the map sensor. Little T. We try to keep the map sensor isolated rather than running it off the block where the signal is contaminated or whatever. I think that might work. It looks, I can do that. I can deal with that. This is an EFI source one. Mainly I picked it because it was set up in the tune already, and it's a 3-bar and plug and play. The other sensor I had before was that old brick. It was giant, the GM brick, but that thing's been great. I used it since it was carbureted back in 2011, and it's lasted this whole time with no issues. But I'd have to reconfigure it, and we had to splice it to make that one work before. And this one's plug and play. So, yeah, that's where we're at. I mean, some other little things too. We're probably gonna have to move the shifter. The shifter's in the forward location now. Have to move it back a little. Shouldn't be too hard to. We had to do some wiring under the car, under here. This spaghetti. You can't see anything, but yeah, we'll have to clean that all up. I was looking for the fuel pump wire because it used to run over there to the computer. Now we had to run it here through the computer because the wire was up here. But yeah, that's about it. I mean, I gotta go pick up Jace. He'll come and help us, and I think it's good. Get him out of the house, get him off of Fortnite, shit like that. But hang out with the guys or whatever. But yeah, this is the old girl's up on jack stands, and hopefully coming down soon. Got to do the exhaust. Here's my 4-inch exhaust. We'll have to bolt that all up. So if not today, maybe tomorrow we'll get it going. And then the whole, hopefully everything with the tune and the Holly goes smoothly. Like hopefully it sees power and hopefully it sees power and it starts and it runs and idles. Who knows? It's going to be a little nerve-wracking, but usually it's kind of uneventful. It'll, you think it's not gonna. You're like, oh shit, we gotta prime the engine with oil yet. I'm thinking we'll put an oil pressure gauge somewhere, and we've done this in the past. You just basically disconnect the coils, crank the engine over until you see oil pressure, and then you go in and hook up the coils and prime the fuel system, which I think is done already. It should be all good, ready to go, and hopefully it'll fire right up and idle like it's been doing it for years. So yeah, can't wait for that. But I'll check back in with you guys in a little bit. All right, got a lot done today. Most of the hot side is on. Gonna put the turbo on. He's gonna make a new wastegate line. Mine was copper, but it was kinked, so I'll run up here somewhere to vacuum line. Probably this one, I think. Yeah, we'll get the turbo on, the radiator on. Radiator hoses is on. Do the top one yet? That's after the turbo's on. I think we may have found a spot for the oil accumulator. Manny's thinking we'll go down here, maybe trim this back, and then underneath here is they call it the Wonder Bar. It's like a frame support right here, this thing, and it should tuck up in there pretty nice. And then we'll have to get some hoses for it, but yeah, I think it might fit there, and I don't think it's gonna hang too low. I was worried about that that air dam thing that I said scrapes all the time. So as long as we tuck it up high enough, I think it'll be okay. And then we'll have to get some lines to it and go to the underneath the engine by the oil filter, or they sell an adapter for the oil filter to where I can tie in, because to the galley is not going to work. There's just no room there to tie into the galley. And then the front galley is behind the alternator. There's no room there either. So, yeah, like I said, that's something we can do later. It doesn't have to be, to get the car running. Manny, we want to try and verify the timing. So you've made a little timing pointer thing right there. And then once we get the software up and running, which I have it in my laptop already, but once we go to fire it, we can check it. We could do that after it's running too, just to verify the timing. And what else? I got to put this pulley on yet. Press that on. Yeah, I don't know. It's coming along pretty good. I got a new battery. Yeah, we should. I don't know. We're about ready to quit for today. But yeah, we'll probably get it started tomorrow. I mean, it's cool because everything in the trunk is it's dwindling. It's not much left to put the turbo on, of course, and the cold piping. There's the pulley there, my dump, exhaust dump. There's the upper radiator hose. Here's the bracket for the turbo. Yeah, we're running out of parts to install, so that's good. We're getting there. And yeah, man, it's coming. It's getting close. Put the car back together. It's going to be tedious. Yeah, I mean, there's not much else to say. I don't know. We're getting close. And yeah, I don't see why we can't fire it up tomorrow. Maybe. Yeah, I think that's everything. Headers went on pretty easy. Yeah, new idler arm. New center link down there. Might have to trim this back a little bit. We'll see how that looks when I put the turbo on and put the drain on. Still got to put that fuel pressure sensor there. These are wired up. There's the fans and the flex fuel. I'm going to leave the boost controller disconnected for now. We're just going to run it on gate. I think I got a 14-pound spring in there. Here's the wideband that'll go in the downpipe. Wideband right here, go in the downpipe. I'm going to have two, one for the gauge, one for the Holley system, one in the front here, one in the back there. Yeah, it's coming together. Still got the Holley wiring harness. I got to plug in the computer itself yet. And yeah, it's not bad. You know, we'll get it probably tomorrow. Fire it up and see if it makes some noise. All right, as you can see, we've taken a few steps back, but also a couple steps forward. Took the exhaust off, mainly because Manny, we figured out we're gonna put the accumulator is gonna go right here. That's what these little tab there, and if you look along the bottom of the radiator there. Manny basically trimmed that radiator support back a little bit, and the accumulator is going to sit in that spot right there. And I'm happy with that. It's not going to be too low that you have to worry about scraping it over speed bumps or manhole covers or anything. The one thing though that's kind of messing with us is there was a power steering line right here. It's the cooler / return line, hooks up to this hose, but it runs down and then was underneath the radiator support right there. So now we gotta relocate that, bend it a little bit, do something. It's over here. I'll show you how. We gotta. It's this thing. So we gotta bend it and do what we need to do to make that fit. Or he's thinking of maybe just making another one. So. Yeah, we'll have to figure that out. We'll put the accumulator in, mount it, and then see what kind of room we have to work with that. The other thing too that kind of stopped us in our tracks was, under the car was a total mess, and for sure that part on the transmission was leaking, the speedometer part, but also we noticed it's my power steering box. I mean the steering box was leaking itself in the front here. This is a new one. It's not new, but my buddy John had one. He's got a lot of third-gen parts, and whenever I need something, he usually comes through. So he hooked me up. And here's the old one, and it was leaking out of here. And Manny said he's encountered this before. He's had Camaros, and he tried to fix it like this. You have a special tool, and it goes in these two slots, and then you unscrew this. But he said he tried to fix it, and he ended up like making it worse, and then the thing locked up or whatever. It was a total failure. So, I mean, admittedly, I guess we don't know much about these things. But it's just a couple gears in there to make it turn. It's just a, steering box. But, so yeah, I got another one. This one's in. I want to eventually upgrade this steering shaft. This right here is called the rag joint in there. It's like fabric and it's saturated, and it just gives, they say it gives the see this, there's a boot here that's all. So yeah, the steering shaft should definitely be upgraded. There's a couple guys out there who make them, they modify them slightly from like an Astro van or something. There's a couple other ones that work too, but it's a nice little upgrade. If I don't do it right now, it'll be done down the line for sure. But so yeah, we got that. We got the accumulator. Oh, I also had a problem with the fan. Like this fan here, it's from a Saturn, and this is actually a different one now, but the one I had in there is from a Saturn. I got it at the junkyard. When we initially put the car together way back in 2011, I just had these fans, this one here and this one here, in the front, and it just wasn't enough. The thing was overheating while it was just sitting there idling. So I added this fan, and it cured the problem, and it's been great ever since. But we noticed that like the front of it down here was chipping and breaking, and it was kind of like on the verge of falling apart. And yeah, if the fan falls apart, that's going to be a bad day wherever you're at. I mean, the other two fans might be enough to keep you cool if you're moving, but it definitely wasn't enough idling. So yeah, replace that fan. We've had the radiator out. Made the mounts for the accumulator. Now I got to get some lines and some hoses for it, and fittings. There was one company that sold the kit, and it came with hoses and fittings and an adapter. Well, here's the brackets. This is the bracket for the accumulator down here. Yeah, but so yeah, it was. They give you an adapter to tie into the oiling system. Basically, down here, I'll show you where it's going to go. Yeah, let me get under here. Oh. Alright, it's going to go basically on this piece right here. It's hard to see. Hold on, let me get better situation. Yeah, so there's this block off plate, right? And it goes right here. It's this piece right here. Man, I can't get a camera angle on it. There it is, that thing. I have a bracket to hold my coils there. But, so you basically remove this piece, and the one they give you has an 8AN fitting on it. Like right now I'm using it for my, that's my oil pressure gauge sensor right there. So, it has an 8AN male on it, and then on the bottom it'll have an NPT port, so I'll still be able to use my oil pressure sensor, and then we'll run 8AN lines from there to the front of the car and to the accumulator, and that's it. So we should only need like maybe a 90-degree fitting, and then NPT to 8AN and a couple feet of hose, and that should be it for plumbing the accumulator. I ordered that fitting. They rob you, of course. It was $80 for a stupid little fitting. I tried to find it cheaper in other, like eBay and stuff, but I mean, whatever. It's gonna make it so much easier. I mean, we could get like a block off plate, and we could get like a block off plate and then just like drill it and tap it, but yeah, this is gonna be like a bolt-on thing, hopefully. So yeah, we'll get that fitting, we'll get that going, we'll get the accumulator in, and yeah, get the exhaust back on, and yeah, so it's the car's not starting this weekend, so hopefully next weekend. I wanted to have the car done for Ocean City, but it's getting close, man. I mean, it's October 7th is when I'm going, which is a Wednesday, but I got one more weekend, so if we don't get it done, if the car's not done, the car's not done, but I'm still going. I got the room booked and everything, but it would be nice to bring the car down, but it's also super stressful if it's going to be last minute, getting the car together and running, and then take a 3-hour trip down to 'Maryland, like basically a maiden voyage, just throw yourself to the fucking wind, and keep your fingers crossed that nothing goes wrong. You know, usually when we do something like this, you drive it around, stay close to home, you know, shit like that. So, but yeah, I mean, yeah, a couple steps back, couple steps forward. Fixed steering box. That's all good now. And yeah, I don't know. I'm just about done for today. I think there's not much else we want to do. I'm getting hungry. I'll go watch football or something. But yeah, I don't know. I'll keep you guys posted. I don't know. Maybe we'll do some work on it during the week. Usually we don't, because we both have full-time jobs. We work, you know, I work 7 to 5 every day, and you really don't feel like doing anything after a long day at work. But yeah, there's I don't know, it's one of those things, you know. I mean, we couldn't just leave it leaking like that, you know. So yeah, you know, fix the power steering problem, the leak on the steering box, found a accumulator mounting solution, fixed the fan, and now we gotta basically continue where we left off and put the exhaust back together, put the, you know, and then test fire it. So yeah, that's all for now. I'll talk to you guys soon.